Dear English learners, welcome back. I'm going to ask you many questions about Mrs. Scott's shop. So let's get started. Mrs. Scott bought a new house last year. The walls of the rooms had been painted a short time before. And Mrs. Scott liked the colors, but the person who had sold her the house had taken the curtains with him. So Mrs. Scott had to buy new ones, and of course she wanted to buy ones whose colors would go with the walls of her rooms. She discovered that her comb was exactly the same color as these walls. So she always took it with her whenever she went to look for cloth for curtains. In one shop, she showed the shopkeeper the comb and then looked at various clothes for curtains for half an hour with him, until he got tired and said to her, "Madam, wouldn't it be easier just to buy some cloth you like and then find a new comb to go with that?" Okay everyone, now I'm going to ask you a question about this story. First, Mrs. Scott bought a new house last year. The walls of the rooms had been painted a short time before. Question number 1. When did Mrs. Scott buy a new house? When? What time? Yes, last year. Very good. Mrs. Scott bought a new house last year. Number 2. Who bought a new house last year? Mrs. Scott. Great. The old lady, Mrs. Scott, bought a new house last year. What had been painted? What had been painted? The walls of the rooms. Very good. The walls of the rooms had been painted. Number 4. When had the walls of the rooms been painted? When had the walls of the rooms been painted? Yes, a short time before. A short time before Mrs. Scott buy the house. Great. The walls of the rooms had been painted a short time before. Okay, let's go. And Mrs. Scott liked the colors, but the person who had sold her the house had taken the curtains with him. Question 1. What did she like? What did Mrs. Scott like? The colors. Very good. Mrs. Scott liked the colors. The colors of the walls. Number 2. What did the previous house owner do? What did the previous house owner do? Yes, he had taken the curtains with him. He had taken the curtains with him. Number 3. What had he taken? What had he taken? The curtains. The curtains. He had taken the curtains with him. Very good. Let's go. So, Mrs. Scott had to buy new ones, and of course she wanted to buy ones whose colors would go with the walls of her rooms. Number 1. Why did she have to buy new curtains? Why? Because the person who had sold her the house had taken the curtains with him. So, the previous owner had taken all the curtains with him. Number 2. What kind of curtains did she like or did she want? Yes, she wanted to buy ones whose colors would go with the walls of her rooms. He liked a curtain whose colors would go, or the colors of the curtain should go with the walls of the rooms. Number 3, did she want to buy ones whose colors would go with the walls? Yes, of course, she wanted to buy ones whose colors would go with the walls. Very good. She discovered that her comb was exactly the same color as these walls. Number 1, what did she discover? Yes, she discovered that her comb was exactly the same color as these walls. Her comb was exactly the same color as these walls. Number 2, what was exactly the same color as the walls? Her comb. Very good. Her comb was exactly the same color as the walls. Number 3, what color was her comb? Yes, her comb's color was exactly the same color as the walls. Okay? So she always took it with her whenever she went to look for clothes for curtains. Number 1, why did she take her comb with her when she went looking for clothes? Yes, because her comb's color exactly the same color as the walls. Her comb's color was exactly the same color as the walls. Number 2, what did she always take with her? What did she always take? Comb. Very good. She always took her comb with her. Number 3, when did she take her comb? Yes, whenever she went to look for cloth for curtains. Whenever she went to look for cloth for curtains. Number 4, what did she look for? Yes, she looked for cloth for curtains. She looked for cloth for curtains. Great. In one shop, she showed the shopkeeper the comb and then looked at various clothes for curtains for half an hour with him. Number 1, what happened in one shop? In one shop, she showed the shopkeeper the comb. She showed the shopkeeper the comb and together they were looking for clothes. Number 2, who did she show the comb? Yes, she showed the shopkeeper the comb. She showed the shopkeeper the comb. Number 3, what did they look at? Yes, they looked at various clothes for curtains. They look at various clothes. Number 4, how many hours did they look at clothes? Yes, for half an hour. For half an hour. Okay, let's go. Until he got tired and said to her, Madam, wouldn't it be easier just to buy some cloth you like and then find a new comb to go with that? Number 1, how did the shopkeeper feel after some time? Yes, he got tired. He was exhausted. He got tired. Number 2, what did he say to her? Yes, he asked her, Madam, Wouldn't it be easier just to buy some cloth you like and then find a new comb to go with that? Number 3. Why couldn't Mrs. Scott follow his advice? Yes, because the shopkeeper, didn't understand Mrs. Scott exactly. Mrs. Scott went to shop to buy a cloth that the wall's color is the same color of her comb. So he took the comb with her to the shops and she showed the shopkeepers in the shop. But the shopkeeper, didn't understand the idea. Okay, everyone, I hope you get enjoyed and I hope you improve your English with me. Please listen to these sounds more than 2 or 3 times until you can understand all the words and you can answer all the questions. Thank you.